You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
Get ready. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. Once again, I'm Big Q, and welcome to joining us here at Podcast 334. That's right, episode 334. And in this episode, man, we're going to be recapping some of the Saints moves as things are moving and shaking. A lot of drama starting to happen in the building. We're going to get into a lot of great stories today. Talk about Drew Brees restructuring the deal like we said yesterday that Mickey Mouse Luma should have did some time ago. Maybe you listen to the show, maybe heard us say, you know what, let's do that. We'll talk about the restructuring of Drew Brees' deal, the breakdown of the contracts of Will Lutz, who is now the highest paid kicker in the pros. Could you imagine that? Also, we have the particulars on both those deals and new acquisition running back Latavius Murray. His deal as well. Free agent visits from Jared Cook, defensive lineman Mario Edwards Ziggy Anzah, who's supposed to be meeting with the Bills. Hopefully he'll not make a deal with them, and that'll be interesting. Also, Ken Crawley, chicken tender was extended to him. The breakdown between Ingram and Latavius Murray, we're going to talk about that today. And, of course, Teddy B, the quarterback Teddy B drama with Miami, his hometown team, as those guys look to try to woo him away, as it was a woeful QB free agency. Free agents as far as the QB are concerned, this free agency period extremely weak. So they kind of ratcheting their deals up. We'll talk about all that today. Once again, welcome for joining us on the Sports Coma. True black and gold talk to all the great who that's out there. And that's what we deal with here. Straight, real talk, none of that commercial stuff, teleprompter free, and we hitting you with the real deal all the time. Welcome both new and established people to the show. And without any further ado, let's get right into it. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is the restructuring of Drew Brees' deal as reported by NFL.com. Is that the Saints needed cap space. They opened up one. It was reported that the Saints restructured contract of Drew Brees to clear up almost $11 million in salary cap space. Of course, you know, Brees will still get $23 million in cash that he due this year. But the simple restructure will push his cap figure high in 22. Remember that Phantom Years thing we talked about? Remember that same kind of stuff he did with A.J. Klein? We know what kind of stuff Mickey Mouse Loomis does. He's very inventive in getting that money around. And you'll see as we talk about these contracts with Will Lutz and Latavius Murray, what's going on. But the Saints were set to have just under $5 million in cap space. So with that, getting almost $11 million from Drew and almost $5 million, they're sitting roughly over $16 million in cap space to be able to get some deals done. Now, this is coming right on time as Jared Cook is making his way into the building, as well as Mario Edwards. That's a little later. But as far as Drew is concerned, it's interesting because he's entering, of course, he's 40 years old, and a lot of people anticipating Drew to call it a wraps after this year, regardless if the Saints win the Super Bowl or not. But it's a Breeze or bust type of year. And, of course, the Saints did a pretty good job of doing that, reworking and freeing almost $11 million of Drew Brees' contract. Good deal, because you're going to need that. You're definitely going to need that because, like I said, you have tight end Jared Cook, who's the best in the free agency, the best tight end on the free agent market right now. He's coming in here. Mario Edwards is another guy the Saints are looking at today. Also, Ziggy Anzah is another dude that is – I haven't heard anything about Buffalo. The latest on Buffalo, I've been keeping eyes on that. What's happening? The only thing I heard about Buffalo, they signed 2 wide receivers, Cole Beasley and John Brown. Outside of that, nothing on Ziggy Anzah. Hopefully he makes his way down to New Orleans in the next day or so. But outside of that, that's the deal on Drew. We free up his money. $11 million, pretty decent move by the Saints. Now let's go into the next realm of topics. Will Lutz is now a Saints for 5 more years and 1. Very good. Now Will Lutz, of course, you know, he came over from the Baltimore Ravens, who have one of the best kickers in the league. He was kicking against him, lost the battle. The Saints ultimately brought this guy as a practice squad player, then ultimately brought him over to the active roster. And after a few years of showing him that he's as rock solid as you can get, Will Lutz now has 5 years worth $20 million. Of course, the particulars weren't available yesterday. They were released as of a few hours ago. And his contract in terms of value is a 5-year deal at $20.25 million. The new contract includes about $9.2 million guaranteed. It ranks second among active kickers, only behind the guy he lost to in Baltimore, Justin Tucker. Now, his annual salary is about $4.05 million, ranks 5th among active kickers. And it's amazing how things go now. Signing bonus $5.25 million, total guarantee $9.2, with a base salary in this year at $850,000. Then, of course, it incrementally jumps. His base salary jumps from $850,000 in 2019 to $3.1 million in 2020, $3.4 million in 2021, 3.4 stays at 3.4 mil in 2022 and 2023. So the Saints kind of, like we said, Mickey Loomis in this year is his first year, keeping that base salary low so that they can add on to the team. Of course, it jumps. So the Saints doing a good job in locking up Will Lutz. The other deal is Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray was another guy the Saints brought on board. His new contract is a 4-year deal, $14.4 million, with $7.2 of it million guaranteed. He's also set to make another $1.5 in unspecified incentives related to his rushing yards and touchdowns. And if anything, this guy is going to get touchdowns because he's one of the ultimate back, 6'3", 240-something pounds, leaning forward, falls forward to get you 4 yards. He averaged 4 yards, over 4 yards on his career rushing the ball. So this guy is no problem getting yards, and he's the ultimate guy in the red zone. You don't even have to worry about having that issue, not scoring in the red zone as far as the running concerned. Signing bonus was $3.4 million, total guaranteed money $7.2. 2019 salary is $1 million, fully guaranteed. So his base salary is just $1 million. And then 2020, it jumps from $1 million to $2.8. Then you have a bunch of bonuses in there, $50,000 for the workout bonus, $350,000 for a roster bonus, unspecified performance bonuses, $500K. 2020 it kind of levels off a bit, goes from 2.8 to 2. Well, actually jumps from 2.8 in 2020 to 2.95 in 2021. And then 2022, it is 295 as well, 2.95 in 2022. So the Saints get these guys, of course, tamping down this year, $1 million in base salary, fully guaranteed for Latavius Murray, and $850K for Will Lutz. So the Saints get both of those guys signed for less than $2 million this year against the cap. Very Mickey Mouse Loomis type deals that kind of panned it down, to kind of put this team together for Drew Brees. Now, and another thing. Now, of course, we know about Mark Ingram's deal recently, where he signed his deal with the Baltimore Ravens. What's interesting about the Baltimore Ravens dealing with him, is that he signed with the Ravens for $15 million, just $1 million more than what Latavius Murray signed. Of course, the rumor was that he wanted more money, more years, and the Saints, I don't know, they didn't want to miss out on Latavius Murray. They really were having an idea that they wanted Latavius Murray. Now, remember, the last Murray they were going after was DeMarco Murray, who opted to not come here. He opted to he didn't want to be grouped amongst the running backs, and I think it'll work. He was a similar type of back as Latavius. But you look at what happened with Mark Ingram's deal. Now, Mark Ingram signs with them for what was the deal with Mark here? Signs for a 3-year deal worth $15 million. Could the Saints have afforded that? According to some of the information we getting, Saints didn't have a counter deal with Mark. They were kind of pressed up against losing Latavius Murray. Now, I said so in the previous broadcast that I would have had Tavon Coleman high on the list, who went to the 49ers for 2 years at $10 million. I grant him I rate him ahead of Latavius Murray. His production, 50-something touchdowns, catches the ball out the backfield. I think that would have been a better back at a better price. 2 years, $10 million that was to the Niners paid for Coleman. And, of course, the Saints could have anteed up $1 more million to pay Mark Ingram. Something happened. They had too much time to make the deal work. I don't know why it fell apart, but it don't make a difference now. Mark Ingram is in Baltimore, and we have Latavius Murray. A lot of guys are sore about that, but guess what? It is what it is, partner. Moving ahead, looking at some of the other free agents that's due to come in here, Jared Cook is scheduled to visit today, and, of course, it's interesting because this guy's coming over a Pro Bowl year. He kind of reminds me of a more athletic, better catching version of Ben Watson, a veteran. He's in his 30s. Had a pretty decent year last year for the Oakland Raiders, 63 catches for 735 yards, 4 touchdowns. He eclipsed all those numbers by himself, and that's what the Saints did. With their total tight ends. Now, Cook hauled 68 passes for 896, so in 6 touchdowns. So he beat 3 tight ends for the Saints last year all by himself. So imagine what he's going to do with Drew Brees throwing the ball. He's in his 10th year, established veteran, ranked 4th in the NFL among tight ends in receiving yards last year, and 5th in catches. He's 6'5", 254 yards. He's set to turn 32 years old next month. Like I say, he's an experienced tight end. Good catcher of the ball, had some injuries, but he kind of reminds me of a more athletic version, better catching tight end version of what Ben Watson would bring. So you ain't getting one of them old guys. You're getting the best tight end on the market, and believe me, Jared Cook, Saints need to get him. If he passes the physical, which I think he will, the Saints should ink this guy. That's why they kind of freeing up that money from Drew Brees right now. So look forward to this deal getting done in the next day or two, and, of course, we'll have it for you here on the Sports Coma. Next topic, Mario Edwards, the former New York Giant defensive lineman. He plays defensive lineman. He plays defensive tackle. Very interesting because the Saints could have opted to go back and try to see if they can sign Alex Okafor and bring him back into the fold. They've chosen to do another route. They're looking at the Giants and Raiders former defensive lineman who can provide good value. The guy is 6'3", 280 pounds, could play either or position. And they're going to need an experienced defensive lineman with Sheldon Rankins recovering from that torn Achilles, then David Onyemata dealing with a potential suspension, dealing with the marijuana crap he did. Tyler Davison is a free agent. And only person there is Tyler Stallworth, and they're going to definitely need a veteran that can come in and kind of help them out in that regard. Now, he's 25 years old. He was a former second-round pick by the Raiders in 2015, started 10 games as a rookie. He played just 2 as a reserve in 2016. He returned to the starting lineup back in 2017, but in 2018, the Raiders cut him after the preseason. He joined the Giants where he was a backup, playing 23% of the snaps. And in his 45 games, he has 85 tackles, 7.5 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles, 3 of which as a rookie. Very interesting player. Can play either or position, pass rusher or defensive. Interior lineman would be something interesting. The Saints are looking at this guy. This could be a value signing for the Saints. A veteran, young veteran with a lot of experience that can come in and help right away. Very good look at this guy. Now, also, to talk about more good, awesome news is of the Saints particularly looking at Ziggy Anzah. Now, Anzah, I don't want to get too deep in that one because he could possibly be spirited away by the Buffalo Bills. I haven't heard anything about him, but Ziggy Anzah, really weird because if the Saints could sign Ziggy Anzah this year, and basically that's what Marcus Davenport is basically mirroring his game after Ziggy Anzah. So imagine the implications of Ziggy Anzah on one side, Cam on one side, you get Mario Edwards in there, then you have Davenport. Man, Ziggy Anzah is a former Pro Bowl pass rusher. He could play either interior if you need him to. He can slide inside. He can play, but he's an awesome pass rusher on that other side. Could be a very big help for the Saints moving forward. He's still in Buffalo. He's supposed to come down for a visit. Hopefully the Bills don't sign him. We get a good look at him. He needs to pass the physical. He does that. I think the Saints will not let that guy out of the building. So we're going to keep an eye on that move as well. All the news to bear witness to, the Saints give Ken Crawley his chicken tender. Now, of course, we know P.J. Williams not coming back. We said that as much on the season finale show after the playoffs were over with. Funny thing about it is that the Saints elected to place an original tender on reserve cornerback Ken Crawley. And by doing so, of course, he's a restricted free agent, and he can potentially negotiate to stay or with another team. Now, should he get another offer, the Saints have the right to match it or prefer not to match it. They can let him sign another deal. They don't get any compensation for it, any draft compensation, because he was originally undrafted. Now, the tender offers for 1 year and is worth about just over $2 million. And Crawley, 26, came here from Colorado University 3 years ago, signing a 3-year contract worth $1.62 million. He's super cheap, and he can work as a fourth cornerback as he learns a little bit more from Marshawn Lattimore, Eli Apple, and Patrick Robinson. You can't help but to learn from talent like that. Very cheap option. He knows the system. Maybe he could start learning how to play the ball as opposed to play not to get burnt like Deion Sanders said most cornerbacks do. But Ken Crawley, before you walk, he is extended a deal as a restricted. Now, on the other side of things, another guy that wasn't tendered, who was chose to be unrestricted, released to be unrestricted, was Tommy Lee, Jerry Lewis, who the team opted not to give him that restricted. They just outright released him and safety from LSU, Jefferson. That doesn't mean that's the end of their career. Potentially, that just means that they could sign back with the team undrafted, and who knows how it would end up. But hopefully they find somebody else better than Tommy Lee Lewis, most certainly. Other news, dealing with the quarterback, Teddy B meets with the Dolphins. Of course, there was reported that the Saints were working out a 1-year deal worth around $7 million. The Dolphins said, listen, Teddy B, come on over here to your hometown. We'll throw another $1 or so at you and give you an extra year. So it'll be 2 years at about $15, maybe $16 million. Teddy Bridgewater went there, met with him. No deal done. Maybe it's because he's looking at the fact that you have a better situation in New Orleans. Now, there was some rumors on the rumor mill about him having concerns that Sean Payton wouldn't be here past 2020. He might end up going to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know about all that. But if anybody know anything, that deal been circulating, that rumor been circulating around for a very long time. Perfect. I just don't see Gail Benson allowing Sean Payton, who has a great working relationship with Mickey Loomis, and here for so long, leaving that to go play for Jerry Jones. Come on now. Man, you got the key to the city right here. But anyway, that's going to do it for the show, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us on Sports Coma Big Q. If you love the show, you like the show, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, go to the links in the description section below to support our sponsors, sign up for our social media, and also if you want to donate to the show, we got a Cash App you can join. You can go to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, or if you use the Cash App, just put Sports Coma in there, and then you can donate that way. So from us here at the show, thank you for joining us. Peace.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needs it the most. with personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals. Their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance, and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to EmbracePetInsurance.com. That's EmbracePetInsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that? Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.